What's happening, everyone? This is R.D and I'm Paul, and we're from Project Prepper. Today we'll be doing a field test demonstration on the K-Bar BK-7 combat and utility knife.
And we're going to be doing with it today some batoning, chopping and making a feather stick. So let's get to it. Alright, here we go. I'm going to start off with some chopping and then we'll move on to some batoning. It's good form to do a 45 in and then a straight one down. Makes the cutting process much more efficient, and the more practice you get, the more accuracy you get, and the quicker you'll get through it. Chopping pretty good because it's a nice sturdy knife. This is a nice little bit of wood. A few more chops and we're done. Now here's a stick I prepared earlier. I'm going to use this for batoning. We're just going to try and split this little sucker in half. Let's come down to the ground. Left hand, right hand. I'll hold it with my left hand today. Just easy. Just hit the spine of the knife. Split it down. You can do use this for many reasons. You could just be splitting the end of a spear to catch fish, or you could be splitting it right off like that to like make kindling. Something, maybe even little spears to put in a hole to catch some little animals to eat. Yeah, that's that. Now, if you want to, I'll give it a little go on this of making a feather stick. Now what we're going to do here is just scrape the bark back and the wood back, but leave it attached to the stick, and then when we put it in the fire, it'll the thinner bits will catch fire and slowly burn through to the thicker bits, and then you've got yourself a nice good fire. It can be a bit difficult at first, but once you get the hang of it, it goes real good. You just keep doing this around the whole stick until you've got enough bits peeled off.
You're in the ground's not hard enough?
Oh yes. It would help if you had it in the ground a bit better, but we're surviving now. Not everything's perfect in nature, so you just adapt and overcome.
That's it, ain't?
Yeah. That's what we're doing. We're surviving. It's real good. Yeah, here we go. Yeah.
I see you got it now.
Yeah. Some bits will come off, but that's not a problem. You just throw that in as kindling.
I mean, it is a hefty blade, eh? So I mean,
Yeah.
for the finer workings like this, finer bushcraft work, you know, I know the BK-7 can do this, but I mean, by having a smaller blade, a thinner blade would be, I would think, more appropriate to do this more finer workings. I don't know about yourself, R.D.
Yeah, it's still good and it's comfortable to use because it's longer and you can really push into it. But
yeah, ergonomically it's easier,
yeah.
That's for sure. Definitely ergonomically. It'll do the job. I mean,
yeah, and
it'll get you out of dodge.
It does, and it's all rounder really, because you can do this.
So he's getting the finer ones now, he's getting thinner and thinner.
Yeah.
With a feather stick, so they should catch a light first, being much more finer, and then, you know, the bigger ones should catch on. And once you've got a bit of a fire going, like, you know, you got a bit of, you know, it's lit, then you put it into your actual fire.
Yeah.
So basically the concept behind feather stick is basically, if, you know, a lot of sticks and everything, you're in wet conditions, you expose the bark, the inner layers of the stick will be dry, hence why, you know, by feather sticking, by creating this effect, it should give you some sort of ignition source to start a light, give you a bit of fire to add to your little campfire you got, providing that, you know, you keep everything as dry as possible.
Yeah, and if it is wet, because this is thin, the heat will, it'll preheat this because it's thin, it'll dry out quicker, then it'll catch fire and burn. Once you get it all going, the fire kicks off because everything gets too hot and it has to burn.
So next we're going to show you, I'll do a bit more chopping on something a bit bigger, that's some dead piece of wood basically, on a bigger scale. Now my turn, ladies and gents, gonna have a go chopping with this old bit of piece of wood here off a tree, old tree. What I'm going to do is, on the lanyard here, I'm going to bind it up, spin it around because I want as much leverage as I can. This is how I prefer to chop. I'll spin it up as much as I can comfortably. So I put my handle right on the edge of my hand. I like how the design of this handle here has that groove, that bend, that elbow in there. So I put my 2 fingers in there and I wrap the hand right around it, and it gives me really good leverage, because I want leverage when I'm like hitting, striking, when I'm chopping. So now I'll demonstrate. Gonna keep my feet spaced apart a little bit. I don't really, when I'm chopping, when I'm striking down, if I happen to miss, I'm minimizing, I'm basically mitigating the chances of hurting myself. So here I go. Just bit in a little bit. I'm going to come down a little bit here, a bit lower, so I'll strike a bit better. Whoop. That's how it's done. Basically, the BK-7 here, Ethan Becker, obviously released this line of BK knives. This particular knife here is a combat utility knife, as explained before. I did a bit of research on him, and he pretty much said this is, ideal for combat deployment, for soldiers of mine, being out in field, as thrusting capability, the point of this knife, and obviously being 1095 chrome band high carbon steel, really easy to resharpen out in the field, and obviously steps up to the task when you're heavy batoning and heavy chopping. Yeah, that's chopping on a dead piece of wood. And that concludes our field test review of the BK-7 combat utility knife. Please help support us by subscribing, and thanks for watching.